Last year, my family took a huge out west trip. For this video, I'm going to be talking about how we started our trip and what we did until the end. We started our trip at 5:51 roughly p.m. when we headed to Cleveland Hopkins Airport to catch a plane headed to Las Vegas, Nevada. Our plane left the terminal at 9:30 p.m. I was so excited to fly because the last time I was on a plane was 7 or 8 years ago. I wasn't afraid of flying. It was super fun for me to be in the air. After we talked to some people in the airport, we got on the plane and I got a seat by the window, which I was super excited because I wanted to take a time lapse with my GoPro. Then the plane started moving down the runway until it took off. I was finally in the air. It's about a 4-hour flight to Las Vegas. When we started descending, we could see a ton of colorful lights. We were flying in the dark, so it was very bright in Las Vegas. Then the plane landed and we headed to our hotel. The next morning, we got in our rental car and headed to Los Angeles, California, where my dad had a project that he needed to work on down there. It was a 269-mile drive to Los Angeles, so we got up early and started our journey. When we went on the highway, we drove through Death Valley, where the temperature was over 100 degrees. We got into LA around 1:45 p.m. and we dropped my dad off at his work, where we went to the hotel to check in. When we headed to the hotel, we saw a huge brush fire on the highway. It was super cool to see, but no one was hurt, thankfully. After we checked in, we picked up our dad and went to dinner at Carrabba's. The next day, we dropped our dad off at his work, and then we went exploring. We headed down to LA to look around, and it was super cool. We saw a ton of supercars, no celebrities, massive houses, and great restaurants. Then the day was done, we picked up our dad and headed out of LA to a town called Fresno, California, where the next day we would go to Sequoia National Park. This was amazing to see because the trees were super massive. I thought the ones in Ohio were big, but I was wrong. After a whole day spent there, we headed back to Fresno, California, woke up the next morning, and headed 106 miles to Yosemite National Park. Let me just say that this was insane. The rock formations were massive, and they were all around us. In the national parks, you cannot fly drones, but I wanted to so badly, and I wouldn't have another chance to get some pictures. So my brother and I went back into the woods, put my drone up in the air, and took some pictures and videos of a super cool waterfall. That was the best part of the trip. After the whole day we spent down there, we headed back to Las Vegas and down to St. George, Utah. When we got there, we headed to our hotel and checked in. After that, we went to Outback Steakhouse for dinner. After dinner, we headed back to our hotel and turned in. The next morning, we headed to a beautiful walk. The walk was cool because it was a dried up river. After that, we headed to St. Hollows National Park, where we went cliff jumping. There was a 40-foot jump and a 60-foot jump. My brother and I were the only ones brave enough in our family to do it. We started our trip at the 40-foot jump, and I jumped in, and it was amazing. The water was clear, and the lake was pretty deep. Then my brother jumped in, and then after that, we headed to the 60-foot drop. This was scary because we didn't know if it was going to hurt. I jumped in and my feet hurt when it hit the water. Then my brother went in. I would recommend if you're in Utah to go cliff jumping. After cliff jumping, we headed back to our hotel, packed up, and headed to Prescott, Arizona. This is where our journey ends, sadly. I came down with COVID and I was in bed for 2 days with a bad fever. Instead of flying home, we had to drive over 2,000 miles back to our house. On the way there, my whole family started getting sick, and surprisingly, I was feeling better. We were so close to getting home when my mom started feeling pretty bad. When we got home, we took her to the ER, but she recovered. Even though we all got sick, we had a great vacation, and I had some cool experiences. I would definitely recommend doing it again. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next video is going to be next week, so hope you guys enjoy that. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.